All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Fearless Pursuit of Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Richards. Today, we discuss the mind-body relation. We learn the importance of self-improvement and defining one's mind to improve the quality of business and life. I've invited an expert on today to really dive into the power of fear and self-awareness. I welcome leadership expert, executive coach, and author, Dom Faussette. Dom was a military veteran and prior police officer with 10 years of corporate leadership experience who has been to hell and back. Dom is the CEO of ThinkReactLead. ThinkReactLead is a company dedicated to pushing people past their limiting beliefs and bridging the gap between their mind and heart for increased success. I'm really excited for this one. This is kind of why I started the show, bringing on people like you who embody the message I want the world to see. Dom, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for the invitation, brother. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So, man, like I said, I started this podcast because I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I've always had this battle since a kid of controlling my thoughts and really embodying this life. And I'm super excited to have you on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I got a huge list of questions, but really, let's just hear who you are and how you came about being a coach, and we'll just go from there.
Good stuff. Well, as I like to call myself, I'm just a regular dude trying to make some magic happen in my life. But like you said, I'm a military veteran. I'm an ex-cop, but let's just even go past that. At the age of 5, I started stuttering like horribly, where I couldn't introduce myself. So from kindergarten all the way up through high school, I was taken out of class often for speech therapy. Didn't like reading in front of people. I didn't really have a voice. Well, I had it, and I just think that God said this just wasn't the time for you to speak.
Right.
So I stayed quiet most of my life. Every now and then I'd have spurts where I wouldn't stutter. Sometimes when I say spurts, I'm like a minute or two.
Yeah.
And when I got out of high school, I graduated high school with 3S, so I barely made it out. And in my household or my parents' household, it was either live in the streets, pay for your way to college, or join the military. Well, obviously, I wasn't going to college, and I don't do too hot in the streets. So military, it was. So I joined the military, and I learned a lot. I was K-9 in the Air Force. I started to find my voice, and I started to have a certain level of confidence in ownership into who Dom Faussette was. And once I got out of the military, I became a cop. Yeah, I just wanted to have a job where I carried a gun, like not a security job, but an actual man. What I thought was a man's job, something that would validate me, which is, we all know, the whole wrong reason to go about doing something. But I thought that's the only thing that I could do. If I can carry a gun, that's a skill set that I had, and utilizing my weapons, I'd be successful. So I became a cop. And when I joined the police department, I just really wanted to give back and help out. And it's all about servant leadership. But I was a cop in Jackson, Mississippi. And at the time, it was a good blend of people from the Hurricane Katrina area to Jackson, Mississippi. So there was a lot of turf war, especially as it relates to drugs. And you might hear me use the reference dope boy. Dope boy is a drug dealer. But as Louisiana dope boys came up to Mississippi, I mean, people were getting murdered broad daylight. And on my beat, I got to see things that the news doesn't talk about, that Hollywood doesn't even put on their screens. And it begins to change who you are as a person. I had all good intentions when I became a cop, but I just got angry. I started utilizing, instead of my voice, my hands to change things. And I've been kickboxing up until this point in Krav Maga probably for about 4 or 5 years, maybe 6. So I was good enough to hurt myself or somebody else, but not good enough to like win any titles or tournaments. But I just started hurting people physically because I was hurt inside. I blamed, I'd say, some of my adolescence or my parents for where I was in life or where I wasn't. And I was in my early 20s. And I still didn't know who I was. And it got to a point where I was kicking in doors and serving warrants without a bulletproof vest. I didn't have the balls to shoot myself in the head. because my parents wouldn't have gotten the money for my death benefits. But I figured if I can go out like a hero by getting killed on duty, I've done my job. And one day, without going into crazy detail, I was just in a position to take a guy out. And a Glock 19 has approximately about a 5-pound trigger pull. I was probably 2.5 pounds to pull into this trigger. And he had a knife on him. But as I'm about to kill him, I hear a voice from the background say, "Daddy." And as I peered over my rear sight, I saw this little boy. He's about 7. And he's holding the hand of one of his brothers who's seen probably about 4 or 5 years of age. And in all, there's 3 kids behind this grown, huge beast of a man. And I thought to myself, like, there's no way I can kill this dude in front of his kids. If his kids weren't there, he's out. So I holstered my weapon, and I didn't have on a vest. He had a knife, and I said, this is probably my time to go. So we ran towards each other, collided, and I'm pretty certain I blacked out because I don't know how I was able to put handcuffs on him, but I did. He needed a couple stitches by the time we were done, but at that moment, I realized that this isn't for me. Like I needed to do something else, so I put my 2 weeks notice in. And once I did that, I landed a corporate job, and I realized that what I did wasn't confidence, like carrying a weapon and traveling the world or being deployed, as we call it, and doing the things that I did. It was all done out of fear, and confidence isn't built out of fear. I started this journey, which I didn't know at the time is what it was, but I started this journey of becoming vulnerable and becoming authentic and becoming a better Dom Faussette. I didn't want to just be a better person. I wanted to be a better Dom Faussette because there's not another Dom Faussette in this world. And I just needed to know who he was. And I realized that if I can kick in a door, and when Intel tells me there's 2 people on the other side of the door, but I kick in the door and there's 5, I don't have the luxury of saying, you know what, guys, I'll be right back. There's too many of you. I'm going to get some backup and you guys just stay put. Like, no, you have to engage in the moment. You can't show fear. You show fear, you're dead. So that's a life and death situation. But I started kicking down the doors to my disbeliefs in self. I started kicking down the doors to where I could go in life. I started kicking down the doors to what society said I can and cannot do based off maybe my religion or based off my height or my gender or my skin color or, the fact that I didn't graduate high school with all A's or just all the little things that chip at our emotions and our intellect telling us why we can't do things. And I only focused on, okay, Intel, so society tells me I can't do this. They gave me wrong information. Fair enough. I'll kick in the door. I'll engage, and I'll make change happen. And I started promoting from one company to the next. And I ended up one day being an AVP at Chase Bank. And I just sat back in my office one day. I was like, this is ridiculous. I have employees that have PhDs. I barely graduated high school, all because I don't see things that can stop me.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought this was a normal thing until I started getting with more people and realized, okay, you don't have confidence. You don't have confidence. And your question was, forgot what your question was. Something to the effect of, why you started coaching?
Yeah.
I started coaching because I had my bosses or executives coming to me asking me questions about my confidence, and I didn't see it as confidence. I just saw it as who Dom Faussette was. That's what I was searching. I was searching for who Dom Faussette was. And I realized I had a thing. I had something. Like we all have a thing. And mine was teaching people how to engage their confidence. Yeah. And I just started charging people. I first started charging people $30 a month just because I felt that was decent. I was like, I have a good gig. I'm making 6 figures. I have got a great job, a great household. And then I just started realizing, there's an industry for this. So I started speaking and I started coaching. And here I am now just enjoying life. Do I have some self-doubt that creeps in? Of course, bro. I have Tourette's. I have PTSD. I still stutter, but it doesn't stop me.
Yeah. And it's been how long now since you started this? Since corporate world to now?
I left corporate world this week last year.
Oh,
so
nice.
This is my first full year.
It's awesome. Yeah, I saw you just out at the Meltdown in the Desert.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's a blast. I love Meltdown.
really. I haven't been out there yet. I missed the past two.
Oh,
This past one, I was in Peru, so I couldn't make it, but I'll definitely make
oh, first world problems.
it.
I'll take Peru over Arizona any day, bro.
Oh, that's right. You live in Peoria, right?
Yeah,
Or somewhere out there in the Phoenix area.
right.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, Peru is great, but I enjoy being around people that are like minded. But I'll make it out next year.
You will.
So you talk a lot about being honest with yourself, and I think it takes a lot of deep down soul searching to be honest with yourself and to realize that you're lying to yourself to begin with.
Yeah.
You got any help on that in that matter, and how to get over that?
You know what? Yes. So for me, and everybody's not going to be in a position to do this, but for me, the last guy I stood over that was breathing his last breath, I saw so much hurt in his eyes. And he was a tough dude from a street standpoint. And he wanted me to text his mother that he loves her. But when you're dying, all your faculties aren't there. And like, I didn't have her number, but I saw a very soft side of this tatted up gangster of a beast. He looked like a little baby, if you can imagine, like a 3-year-old climbing into their parents' bed after having a nightmare. That's what he looked like. And again, there's so many things happen in our lives that we don't realize impact us until 5, 10, 15 years later. But when I think about that, I thought to myself, like, do I need to be angry with my mom? Do I need to be angry with my dad? Do I need to be angry with the people that I thought weren't there for me growing up? No, anger is a choice. And I suggest to my clients this one question. I ask this one question first. When is the last time you were happy? And one of my clients answered like this. I was happy around Christmas because I was able to provide gifts to my family, this, that, and the other. And I said, well, that's not happiness. That's the result of your hard work. And that's for somebody else. When is the last time you were happy? And she couldn't answer that question. And most of my clients are probably 28 and above. And the last time they were happy is when they were a kid. And the next thing I suggest is write down all of the things that hurt you. And it could be being molested as a kid. It could be a breakup that you had that you're just not getting over. And then I suggest to them, write down the names of all the people that owe you an apology. And some people have a list of 2, some people have a list of 10. And I before I tell them to crumble that list up, I tell them that nobody owes you an apology. They don't. And most people that hurt us, they don't even realize for the most part that they hurt us, or they forgot because they're living their own life. Yeah. So you can let that person's hurt towards you at the age of 5, and here I'm 40, dictate the rest of your life, or you can choose to be happy. And I had a shrink when I first got out of law enforcement. She asked me, what's the thing that you did as a kid that made you happy? And I said nothing. That was my first response. I was stuck in my own way, but it was skateboarding. And I still downhill longboard. I have a handful of skateboards in my garage, and I picked up a board one day and just kick push. It's like, you can't skateboard angry.
Yeah.
It just looks weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I was skateboarding, and then I got better. And what that did is it put me around skaters. And I don't know if you've been around skaters, but they have like this relentless approach to winning. Yeah. And let me give you an example. I'm at the skate park. I don't do any cool tricks, but I'll ride the bowl and do my thing. Mm-hmm. But this kid, probably about 22, he's attempting to clear 17 steps with a regular skate park deck.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he's tried 5 times. And on the 7th time, he rolls, tumbles. He's got scratches on his arm, and his jeans are all messed up. But he says, man, I almost got it. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, you did not almost have it. Like, you didn't land it. Your board's over here. Your body's over here. Like, you're holding your elbow. But he kept going and going and going. And I think he tried like 15 to 16 times. On the 16th time, he landed it. But from the first time to the 16th time, all he saw was I'm getting better. Yeah. Not I crashed, not I tumbled, not I scratched up my shoes and messed up my jeans. No, I almost had it. And that made me realize something. You know what? Maybe the things that make us happy are there to teach us a lesson. Had I not purchased my skateboard, my first one, and put myself around a group of people that never fail in their eyes, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And I don't think about the future. I just think about what I'm going to do for the next 3 to 5 hours, not for the next 3 to 5 years, because I might not be here.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I ended up watching a lot of GoPro wins and fails, and it's always those skateboarders that are just, you see them just breaking arms and
everything,
and failing over and over again. Snowboarders too, they're trying to grind the rail, and they just keep going, and it's just it's pretty awesome. But that conversation brought up a lot of things in my mind, and I don't know which one to dive into first, but removing toxic people from your life. I've started to do this lately. Well, not lately. It's probably been about 3 years now. I was like, man, there's some people that I thought I needed in my life, but have really discovered that I don't need them there. And in fact, they're toxic and they're bringing me down.
Right.
And I don't know. It seems like every time I mention this to some people, people have a harder time writing people off in their mind, whereas I'm pretty easy at. I'm getting pretty good at it.
Pretty good at it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I just don't understand. I think it goes back to the lying to yourself thing, and I think it all interweaves in the mind connection there with just trusting yourself. But what's your thoughts on removing these people?
You know what? You have goals. Say you have 5 goals. For every one goal you have, you should have 2 non-negotiables. So one of my non-negotiables that I stick to is not just removing toxic people, but asking them why they're toxic.
Really?
Before I go grab my iPhone, swipe left, hit delete contact, I'll send them a message. And I've done that recently. Hey, bro, I noticed the last 2 times we were in the same environment, you were acting kind of funny around me. I'm open to have a conversation with you if you're cool with doing so. It's just my observation.
Yeah.
And what I have found is when I put it out there, basically when I call somebody to the carpet, it opens their eyes, because most people do not ask questions. They just assume, oh, this person doesn't like me, or this person's negative. One of 2 things will happen. You'll find that person's toxic because say their mom has cancer and they've been battling it for the last 1.5 years, and their emotions are so messed up that they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Right. So they have something negative going on in their life that they can't control, which that's cool, because now I understand where you're coming from. Now we can have an adult conversation. And then there's just some people that are dissatisfied with your success.
Yeah.
All right. And we need to be so brutally honest with people, because we're doing them a disservice. I will tell somebody, it seems, and I'll preface it because people are soft these days. I'll preface it with, I'm just one person. This is one person's opinion, and this is my perception of what I'm viewing. It seems like you're having an issue with my growth. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'd like to talk to you about this.
Right.
And that's a very uncomfortable conversation for the other person to have.
Yeah.
Like you pull the carpet from out from under them, and they'll start to stammer, and that'll give you an insight. But if you're not ready to have those conversations, that's not easy to do. Like you got to build some skin before you can just jump into those kind of conversations. Just delete them from your contact list.
Yeah.
Stop contacting them.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had to do that many times, but I've never thought about it from that point of view is asking them, what their deal is. And maybe in fact, we could have been helping them. So now I'm looking back on people I've let out of my life and
like, oops.
Yeah, maybe they're battling something else.
Oh, well, next time.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Yeah, and this one isn't, I don't think it's a short answer, and we probably won't get through much of it really. But I saw where you're speaking on what it takes to get past hurt and anger. And I feel like I do the hurt thing I get over pretty easily. But honestly, I do have issues with getting angry over, say, a Facebook post that's geared at me. I'm like, man, I don't know why that fool is putting me on blast on Facebook, but
right.
And I'll think about it for like, man, well over a day. And I'm like, man, what is going on? I need to get this crap out of my mind. And so, it's something I deal with, and I know others do as well. I mean, you have a short answer to that, or is it?
I have a very dialed in answer. Right.
Sure.
So hurt.
Yep.
Getting over hurt. For me, I'm in the process. I started the process like 7 years ago. Me speaking on stage and talking about where I'm at in my life. So not talking about what hurt me 10 years ago and how I overcame because I'm so awesome and I can walk on water like most speakers do. No, bro. Like when I spoke at Meltdown, Meltdown always makes me cry when I'm on stage. It's like the audience is just very receptive to me. But talking about it, like I do Instagram videos every day and I'll do lives throughout the week as long as I'm not traveling.
Yeah.
But talking about it, because my hurt is also somebody else's hurt. So I can talk about mine. Like I get compassion from my audience on social. I get compassion from the stage. And who says we have to get over it today? You don't have to get over it today. You just can't let it dictate your actions. And then anger, I feel you on the Facebook thing. You're like, bro, you're not using my name, but I know what you mean by that.
Exactly.
The best way to get over that is just like you're in high school. When somebody stares at you as you're walking down the hallway, bro, you got a problem?
Yeah.
And we either box or we have a conversation. Usually in high school, you box. And I lost a lot of those. But as an adult, we don't box, right? So I'll message them. I say, hey, it sounds like this post is about me. We good? You got a problem? We need to talk about it. Yeah. Because what you're doing now, I'm going to say this to your audience. This is not how I suggest you go about doing it. But there have been times where I've messaged somebody and I'll say, what you're doing reminds me of a high school girl cheerleader. And I shouldn't say that because that doesn't help the situation out, but it makes me feel so good.
Oh, it feels good, yeah.
Because I'm making them talk, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even going to say that. I haven't done that in over 9 months. I've worked on myself. I come from a place of curious.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes me a week or two before I can send that message.
Yeah, that same thing to me. When I get in these situations, I type this big old response. I'm like, nope. It's not what Facebook's for. Delete. delete.
Just hold delete until it just takes out all the words.
Yeah. That's a constant battle because I use business or I use Facebook for business, and I try not to let the emotions of other people's downfalls get into my way.
Right.
Man, it's so hard.
And I think it's a test, bro. I really think it's a test. I think as we grow, guys like us grow, it's every now and then these tests come up so that we can see where we aren't.
Yeah.
And the sooner we can get over these things, because you and I both know we can't say anything on a public platform because we lose half our audience.
Yep.
Right. And we're seen as subject matter experts. So we're limited. I really think if we just think to ourselves, hey, this person is probably hurting somewhere in their life. Let me just ask. And I've only done this twice, so I'm working on it. Let me just ask. Let's say his name's Chris. Hey, Chris, I saw your post. Some of me thinks you're talking about me. I just wanted to have a conversation with you to see where we're at and just leave it at that.
Yeah. No, that's a good approach. I got to work on that as well.
We're in this journey together, bro.
Yeah. So my podcast is The Fearless Pursuit of Freedom. And freedom to me is a variety of things. It's everything. It's travel. It's financial. It's life, love, experiences, everything. But I want to talk on fear, and because I've noticed that you have talked about fear a lot as well, and either conquering and overcoming it, or whatever but like for me, fear is a real thing, and I believe in overcoming them and using those fears to propel myself into the future or to whatever those fears are. Like climbing. I like heights. I'm not afraid of heights, but getting to there and climbing is pretty freaking scary, but I'm going to go do it anyways. Rappelling's scary. Going fast on a motorcycle is scary, but I do it anyways. I mean,
you ride?
Oh yeah. Well, that was one of my questions later. Is about the Ducatis.
All right, cool. We'll talk about that. Cool. I'm like, oh yes, conversation switches.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on fear and overcoming and using that to your advantage?
So there's physical fear, because yes, when you climb, the opposite of going up is coming down. And I know I'm no genius. I'm no math genius, but I do know that the rate of speed in which you climb up is superfluously slower than the rate of speed in which someone will come down.
Oh yeah.
And when you come down, this isn't the road runner. Like it's going to hurt.
Yep.
That's your body's way of preparing us, right? You jump out of plane, fear, right? But it's if we were to just climb or ride our motorcycles, I downhill longboard.
Yep.
Fastest I've ever gone is 40 miles an hour. I got friends that can do 68, 70 miles an hour on their skateboards going downhill.
Wow.
Like there's a fear that comes with that. And that fear, I think, is what aligns your body to safety.
Yep.
Because when we were younger, dude, I would bomb a hill on a skateboard, no pads, no helmet. It was the 80s, no fear.
Yeah.
But when you hurt yourself once, your body says, okay, now I know what this feels like. It's going to hurt. Like that's fear. And I think that's an okay fear.
Yeah.
Because when I was kicking indoors without a bulletproof vest, I had zero fear. But it wasn't zero fear. It was 100% anger, 100% hurt, 100% emotionless. Like it was just not it was just dark.
Yeah.
Now there's also the fear of, I get this. Hey, I was at a conference all last week in Florida, and I went in my mind as low man on totem pole. But what I found is you have all these people looking for crowdfunding for their projects. And these are people older than me. And they're sitting at these tables, these round tables, and they, in their intellectual wisdom, I'm looking to find exposure for my product. And we're looking for $12 million in funding. And the product is this. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, just do videos. Do videos on social media. You've got Instagram. You've got IGTV, you got IG Live, you got Facebook Live, you got YouTube, you got Vimeo. Like you have you have about 10 platforms, LinkedIn, where you can deliver a message about your product and get eyes on product.
Yep.
And literally, these guys and gals look at me like they're afraid to get on camera.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing this class on building up your confidence and the whys behind why you should do a video. And that's, in my world, that's the biggest fear for some people. But why? Because they don't want to get judged. What is it you don't want to be judged about? And I think fear is so intangible. Like, what are you afraid of? Like it's just being judged. So getting over that is just doing a little bit at a time. So because I brought up videos, do an Instagram story. It's 15 seconds. It lasts for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's the easiest way to do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we have fear, and I have found in the 30 plus crowd, because we compare ourselves to how awesome we were in college. We compare ourselves to how awesome or how we looked in high school or how legit we were in the military. But then we grow and we lose our abs, and some of us lose our hair, and we just not the same person. Oh, you lose the testosterone talking about dudes. But I want you to ask yourself 5 questions and answer them. Why am I afraid of X? X is whatever you're doing. Then answer that. Once you answer, why is that my answer to why I'm afraid of X? Eventually you'll get down to where you have 0 answers.
Yeah.
So I think with fear, so for me, I stutter. I have Tourette's. My biggest fear was people finding out that I had Tourette's. Then I was like, you know what? I'll just tell people. And I got that from watching 8 Mile, the story about Eminem years ago. Like he hit the stage the second or third time and put all his business out there.
Yep.
And from there forward, you couldn't hold anything to him. Like he was legit. Yeah. So I kind of take that same approach.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Yeah, because one of the things I need to start doing more is utilizing live video, and I've made that attempt. But I know when I first started doing it, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, that was one of my fears. Is all right, I'm definitely going to stutter. You know, what are these people going to think of me while I'm on video? And now I'm just like, we'll get it out there and we'll just see where it goes.
Hey, Sarah, what will be, will be.
Yeah. Let's see. I still have quite a bit more, but I don't want to keep you too long. One of the quotes I put into my outro on my podcast is from Les Brown. And it's if you're not pursuing your dreams, you're literally committing spiritual suicide. And that hits home for me just because I got the hashtag only one life.
Right.
I mean, why the heck are we going to be here if you're not going to go after what you want to be here for? Because one day you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, what did I do with my life?
No regrets, bro.
Yeah. You got a Ducati, dude. Let's talk about the Ducati.
Now, like I was excited before, now I'm giddy.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted a Ducati since I was a kid. That was one of my things. I was at my uncle's house one day, and he lives in. I grew up in San Bernardino, California, gang banging the whole nine. Mm-hmm. But every now and then we get to go to my uncle's house. Everybody has that rich uncle, or what we rich, but he lives in Laguna Niguel or Dana Point at the time. And at the bottom of the hill in his neighborhood, there was a garage, and every now and then it was open, and there was a Porsche 911, and there was a Ducati, and like it looked so cool. And a couple years later, this movie came out called Fled with Lawrence Fishburne and some other guys. And I remember them going through like this canyon on these two yellow 749s, I think is what they're called, but two yellow Ducatis. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a Ducati. And I told myself, I'm not buying any other motorcycle until I can afford a Ducati. Like that was a non-negotiable. Yeah, I could have bought a Honda, not my thing. I mean, not from their sick bikes, but I wanted a Duck. And one day I was like, I bought my helmet. I bought an AGV helmet. I bought my AGV textile jacket. I bought my gloves. I bought my boots. Like I had all of the things. Like my apartment, my studio apartment smelled like a motorcycle shop, minus the rubber from the tires. And I was ready. So I prepped myself. And I was looking at Ducatis probably once a month at the local Ducati dealership. And I created a relationship with the guys there. And it was so cool. And they're like, hey, when you're ready, you're ready. And years of doing this. Yeah. And I was about to pull the trigger on a Ducati. And then I realized, I'm in an apartment. I got to buy a house. So I waited because I got to think. I got to adult sometimes. Yeah. So I went through the process to purchase the home. But in the middle of doing that, I met this lady. And we started dating. And she already had a house. And I met her, started dating. So 3 weeks after I met her, we purchased Ducatis. Like we had talked about them. We got our motorcycle license. And we purchased Ducatis. And I was like, okay. Like I was going to purchase a Ducati 899, but she purchased an 899. So I'm a dude, in my infinite wisdom. I'm like, no, my first bike's got to be an 1199 because that makes
there we go.
right, that makes complete sense. Never ridden before. Get a Ducati 1199. Yeah. And we started riding together. Obviously, I put a ring on that, and we got married a year later. Like, I'm coming. And that's been the thing that brought us together. And that's the thing that's connected me with so many people. I use the brand to brand me. Yeah. And I've met people all over the world just because of my Ducati. And we tracked our Ducatis for the second time, a couple months ago, right before the summer. But it's a feeling, we all want to be that guy that does the long wheelie in front of the girl. Like we all want to be that guy. Like at the end of the day, why do we buy a Hellcat or why do we buy a Demon? Why do we buy Lamborghinis? Why do we buy the Raptor, 6-wheeled Raptor? Right? You don't need those things. These are just like, got it now. And I love my bike. I love what the brand stands for. And it's helped me brand me.
Yeah.
It's helped me hold my standards up here.
Yeah.
So you ride a sport bike?
Well, I had an R6, got rid of it when I first moved out here to Texas.
Okay.
But my trip to Peru was a motorcycle trip. So I spent 2 weeks on a motorcycle in the Andes.
Oh,
yeah.
Bro, like so my story was cool. Your story just went one up my story. That's a legit story.
Only because it was out in the mountains. Yeah. One of the riders has a Ducati Multistrada. And so I've been looking at those. But I should show you the email chain between me and my girlfriend Ashley. Is I'm always sending her Craigslist posts of these Ducati 1098s and
how many times a day do you look? Do you Google image or look at something motorcycle related online?
Oh, several times. It's probably on YouTube or Craigslist or even if it's not like even if it's not motorcycle related, it's exotic car related. The 4 or 5 Ferrari Special. I mean, something's coming up.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Dreaming, bro. I do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Which maybe thought about what we're talking about is what are your thoughts on rewarding yourself for goals you've achieved or milestones within business? I'm having a hard time right now as I've got the money. I can go get me a Ducati right now, but I'm like, man, $16,000. Should I go get it or should I reward myself to let myself know that I've gotten to where I want and it's going to push me further? What are your thoughts on that? Because
so
this is going to decide if I go to the dealership tomorrow or not.
My thoughts on that is I could be dead tomorrow. And for me, if I reward myself with pushing myself in my business, I won't get the results for a minimum a week. But in reality, we're talking 2 to 3 months that we're going to see the wins from the work that we're doing today in our business.
Yeah.
I used to not reward myself, and I realized it was because I didn't value me. I had a problem with being nice to Dom Faussette. I didn't value me. I valued everybody else, but I never rewarded myself or valued who I was. And I used to go to the store and buy shirts, and I'd get to the store and I just felt unworthy. So I just wouldn't purchase it.
Same here, man.
It's the stupidest thing, but so many of us deal with that. Like I buy Eaton shirts, and they start at $285. But when I bought the first one, I wore it and I just said, like, my old Dom Faussette, he was like, you don't deserve that. Who do you think you are to buy that?
Yeah.
But I realized that as I'm wearing them, it put me in a pocket of people, because there's a certain type of person that spends $300 on one shirt.
Yeah.
And I would go places and speak and be on stages, and guys that I want to live like, they're like, man, that's an Eaton, isn't it? And then boom, we start talking. Ducati's the same way. When you're as crazy as this sound, you and I both know that if you buy a Ducati, it puts you in a class of people that are in places in business that you and I want to be.
Yep.
Like my Ducati has built relationships with a guy whose wife is the CEO of the Boston Children's Hospital. Awesome. A guy named Mark Denson, who's working with the green space from like electricity, and I can't talk that language, between California and Mexico. We ride Ducatis. It put me into the homes of people like Sharon Lecter, right? Who she's big time. It invited me to be on stages, because when I talk to a guy who's doing greater than I am, we're just talking about bikes. We're just two dudes talking about bikes. So if you want to get a Ducati, get a Ducati. And I'm saying, and now I'm just talking to you. I love your audience. Don't know. Forget them. It's that we just got finished talking about no regrets. If you found out tomorrow that you had 4 months to live, guess what you would buy today?
Ducati.
Right.
Yeah.
Hands down. And you wouldn't just buy the base Ducati. You take that 16 grand and then finance another like 3 or 4 grand.
Yeah.
To get the bike you actually want.
Yep. No, I mean, yeah. Because that's how I feel. But it's hard for me to to get past it for some reason. I'm the same way. I'll put like 6 things in my Amazon shopping cart and be like, no.
And it sits there. You close your computer
forever.
I do that. And I open up the next day and then you get all these emails from Amazon. Hey, Dom, here's some things that
you left in your shopping cart. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I do that now. But you said it. You didn't say YOLO. You said only one life.
Yep.
Bro, only one life. Go get your bike.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to spend the money on anything else. And if you do, you're not going to be satisfied. Yep. None of us are.
Yeah.
None of us are. And I don't there's just something and everybody's not going to get it unless you're a rider.
Yeah.
Riding a Ducati, I'll be honest with you, bro. Like when you pull up to any bike environment or even a stoplight, because people think Ducatis are like $1 million. I don't know why. Yeah. But when you pull up to the light and everybody out the window is like this, and you see everybody doing this, click, 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 you're just, Is it an external feeling? Yes. Some people would say, oh, you shouldn't feel that way because that you're letting somebody else validate you. Well, okay, whatever. That's where I'm at in my life right now.
Yeah. No, it feels good. No.
It feels good, right? I'm the boss at that 2-minute stoplight in that moment. Yeah. But you know what's funny? I go to like meetups and things like that, and there's always spectators with their kids. And the dads are always like, oh man, Dom, that's a nice bike, this, that, or not Dom, but the kids are looking at it. I'm like, yo, come sit on the bike.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Yeah, bro. Bring on your kids, take pictures. Yeah. It allows me to help somebody else dream.
Yeah. No, I had the same experience where I had flip houses, and so I sold a house, made some money. I was like, man, I'm gonna go rent me a Lamborghini. So we went to Phoenix and rented a Huracan for 3 days. Drove up to Flagstaff and met a couple buddies.
Okay,
and I was getting bashed for spending like $4,000 on this car. I'm like, man, that was a time of my life.
Right. Life is experiences.
Yeah.
Why would somebody bash? At the end of the day, we owe nobody an answer to anything we do.
Yep.
If I want to take $4,000 and rent a Lambo, then I'm going to spend $4,000 and rent a Lambo. I mean, I know guys that spend $10,000 a year on alcohol.
Yeah.
How much do people spend on cigarettes?
Yeah.
Child support, right? You made mistakes in your life. Like, I'm good. I'm going to take what I call my beer and cigarette money, and I'm going to spend it on this because I don't drink and I don't smoke.
Yep. No, that's good. No, that's perfect. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm going out to Phoenix middle of August for a networking deal, and I plan on renting a Ferrari, so I'll swing by.
Oh, dude, that'd be legit. Let me see, August. August is a little warm for me to be on the bike, but you rent a Ferrari.
There we go.
The weather's nice. I'll just follow you on the bike.
Cool. I think last subject, and we'll wrap this up. But I think a lot of that mind body control has to do with fitness. And you're in great shape. At least look to be in great shape. What do you feel is the importance of keeping a healthy body in regards to exercise and eating, and that mind body control there?
So I'm in decent shape, and I'll be very upfront. I don't work out and eat right to make the mind body connection. I work out and eat right because my suits aren't cheap and they're tailored, and it costs to untailor them because I gain weight. When I get on stage, because of what I talk about, I have to be in shape. And because of how I speak, I have to be in shape and I have to eat right. I don't have the luxury of being fat on stage. I judge fat speakers. So I know people would judge me if I'm fat. I'm sure there's a better way to look at that. I'm sure the best way to look at that is I'm going to be in shape because it's about me and the body, the holistic, blah, 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 whatever. Like, I killed a whole bag of spice drops and orange slices yesterday. I do like to eat good food. I mean, there's a place in Gilbert that serves the best ice cream. I was in Jersey recently and we had ice. Like, I eat that kind of stuff. I enjoy life, but I have noticed that when I'm in shape, my mental clarity is on a level that is like no other. If I go to the gym in the middle of the afternoon just to take a break because I work from home, I feel better. I've released something and gained something. When I eat cleaner, my insides feel wonderful. So there's something to it. And slowly but surely, I'm moving the needle towards a healthier lifestyle and eating cleaner. But I do it for 3 reasons: mental clarity, so I don't have to come out of my suits, and so I have a presence on stage, and I just need my chest to be further than my belly, and outside of that, like, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I like it. I do it for very selfish reasons. Along with, I just want to prolong my life. I want to look and feel good, and helps my self-confidence.
Right.
And then I think about high achievers, because I lived in Phoenix for 4 years.
Oh,
I lived up in Flagstaff 4 years. And I remember going to Paradise Valley, parts of the Biltmore area, or like Fountain Hills.
Right.
And all the people that seemed to be, wealthy had some form, and not all, but most. Seems to be a common thread between, high achievers and wealth and fitness. But
I've noticed the exact same thing. They're all they can afford to eat the good food. They can just afford things. But I'm not saying you have to be rich to do it. Like, just start. Yeah. I mean, you may not be able to afford to go to the gym. Wake up in the morning and knock out 100 push-ups. Yeah. And don't start your day until those 100 push-ups are done.
Yeah, it's a mindset. Yeah, it's conquering the little things. Yeah. Well, hey, man, I appreciate it. If anybody wants to reach out to you, I'll tag everything down below, but what's the best way?
We can go old school. Just call me. I mean, I can 602-481-0650. Shoot me a text, but I mean, you can check out my website. There's a link there to contact me. It's ThinkReactLead.com.
Yep.
And I get most of my clients from Instagram, and I get, I have a lot of conversations on Instagram. Instagram's Dom Faussette.
Nice. I appreciate it. I'll tag it all below. And
legit.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man.
And once I make it out to Phoenix, I'll let you know.
You can rent a bike while you're out here too. If you have your motorcycle license, I'll set you up at GoAZ, and you can borrow like an S1000RR for the day, or you can borrow a Ducati 1299S for the day.
There we go.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do both.
Yes, Ferrari and Ducks. Now that's a day.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. Cool, man. All right, we'll catch you later.